Thanks for joining us on this new compact version of Does It Resonate With You, where we take a whole show from each week and cut it into smaller and more digestible chunks so that you can listen on the go or listen to them all in a row, whatever works for you. We really want you to find your own truth while we discover and discuss ours. And while we're at it, could we encourage you to reach down and hit that subscribe button? Thanks so much. We'll see you on the other side. Hello and welcome. Does it resonate with you? Welcome to our new format. We are going to do a 1 hour show every week, but we're going to chop it up into three. Chop it up. That doesn't sound very good, does it? We are going to cut it. We're going to do it in 3 pieces to make it a little bit more digestible for a lot of you who I know see that it's a 1 hour show and go, oh, I don't really have the time. So we wanted to try and make it so we can connect with as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So I think this format is going to be really fun. It's going to limit it, kind of limit how far off in the tangent we can go. So maybe it'll help us keep on track a little bit.
If we ever needed to do that, I guess.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, thank you for joining us. And please, if you have not yet done so, reach down and hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it.
Yep.
So what have we got for this time, John?
Well, there's often a question of how much should I charge if you're doing a service, especially if you're in the metaphysical arts, such as tarot reading, maybe psychic or mediumship,
energy healing,
all of that. How much do you charge? People, especially when they're starting out, don't know how much to charge. And even worse, people that have been doing it a while still ask that question because they don't know, or they're not making any money, or they're not getting any clients. So
right. So there's all of that, and then and really fast in the beginning, I would like to address the one big elephant in the room, and that is the misconception that is out there that what you do is a gift, so you shouldn't charge for it.
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, it just is, because you have to eat, right? So folks. This show is about our opinions and what resonates with us. So take this with a grain of salt if it doesn't resonate with you. But I believe that mindset or that thought process comes from a fear consciousness, through a fear filter. Like it almost feels to me when somebody says that I should not be charging because it's a gift, they feel like there's consequences from spirit. For charging. That's what it feels like to me. And if that's the case, that's fear talking, and that's the ego, right? Like, You got to get that out of the way. So with that said, do you think anything further on that, or did we kind of nail that?
It's an energy exchange, right? If I'm doing a tarot reading for someone, the energy exchange is my tarot reading for them, and the return, right? The give and receive, the receive for me is the payment.
Right. And that is it, right? So I want to address one more thing and stay in this vein. Have you noticed that, and I hear this from many people, I just heard it yesterday in a group that I was in, that when you start out and you do readings or you do sessions, whatever you do, and you do them for free for people, when you make the choice to start charging, the people that you did for free do not show up, right?
That is true.
They don't, they don't. To me, because it was always an imbalanced exchange. They were getting, and I don't know, maybe you were getting practice, so maybe there was something of an energy exchange happening.
And sometimes we do a round robin, right? I read for you, you read for me.
But I think that's different,
it's
right?
Different.
I think we're talking about like friends or neighbors or whatever.
I got it.
The ones that can get to be kind of
clingy.
I don't know, addicted almost to the readings, and they keep showing up and they keep thinking you're going to do it for. It happens in the tax industry too. Like people, oh, can you do my tax return? Yeah, for $150. What? Well,
like
500, because I really don't want to. So 500 is going to be what it takes to get you to tell me no.
Just try calling a plumber for free.
I know, right? Or just try to get, go to the Jewel. And I mean, I don't know if you have Jewel, it's
Yeah.
Albertsons, right? Like, you can't go in and say, "Oh, these are the groceries I want," and walk out without paying. Like, that'll get you thrown in jail. Anyway, here it is. FEE, FEE, Fair Energy Exchange.
Nice.
Take the R out of free.
Oh, wow. That's even better. Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
Take
All
the
right.
R out of free. And then you get fee and you get paid. Spirit will not. I'm reluctant to, when I hear somebody say, "Well, Spirit said I shouldn't charge." I don't buy that. But I really don't buy that. But because don't forget, you're translating with your filter, right?
Sure. Yeah. You're making that up.
But I would say, well, Spirit doesn't have to eat. Right?
Right.
Spirit doesn't need to put gas in the car or
Right.
keep a roof over
Maybe
their
what
head.
Spirit's saying, don't charge for me. I don't need it. You do, but
Yeah, right. So now let's move on to the part about figuring out what to charge.
Yeah.
Because I think I see a lot of people undercharging, but I also think I see a lot of people overcharging. And I think part of the problem, and this is just something that kind of came to me in the last week or so, is that when you first start out, you don't know what to charge because you don't have any context for what that amount should be, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
you can't look at, let's say, how much does Lisa Williams charge for an hour? I mean,
That's a
for
lot.
an hour, for a mediumship hour, and it is like $900.
It's huge. Yeah.
And again, I really believe that it's not as much about the $900 as it is about she doesn't want to do individual readings very much anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's a deterrent, basically.
I think that's part of it. But so you have that. Well, can't pattern yourself after somebody who is doing something that's not in alignment with who you are at this moment. Now, am I saying down the road you can never charge that? Of course not. But you can't go from kindergarten to high school, right? You just
Mhm.
can't. And you can't, I mean, we have I have actually a very dear friend, and she is her program is, six figure, make six figures, and she's really good at it. But I knew the minute I met her, before she even got there, that she was going to be way bigger than
Hmm.
than even she believed in the moment, right?
Huh.
But what I discovered, and it's interesting because another of my teachers is the same, these big ticket programs, like programs in the thousands,
Yeah.
thousands per, like 6 weeks for 2,500 or,
Yep.
whatever. And
There's
I'm
plenty of
not going to
programs out there
even,
like that.
right. I'm not going to, like, I'm not going to give any direct quotes or direct people. But what I figured out recently, took me a long time to get there, is that I was trying to pattern my practice after them, the people that I had learned from. And I'm here to tell you that was never going to work.
You're a
Because
different person.
I am right. Are they wrong? Because I don't want, no, that works for them. That resonates with them, right? Like, that's the gist of this whole show. What works for you? What are you in alignment? So what I discovered was that I really prefer, well, what I really love is to make 70% of my income while I'm sleeping, which is,
Right.
all
Passive
about the
income.
automated, right? The evergreen and automated courses,
Yep.
which I have a lot of things that I want to put out that way. But if you are first starting out and you're doing a tarot reading, one of the things a person might say is, I'm not worthy to collect money because I'm just practicing.
Right. Got a couple notes on that.
Oh, I'd like to hear, because I have a couple of ideas too. So I'd like to hear if we're kind of on the same page.
Right. What was explained to me, or what was taught by someone I learned tarot from, was if you still use your book, then you probably shouldn't charge. Or if you do charge, it's, quote, beer money. Meaning, It's a very small amount that just, pays for your drinks or pays for your coffee or tea, if you're still using your book and you're reading for friends. Another thing in that same vein is one of my mentors, and this was a mentor in business, but what he said, it is okay to buy experience when you are first starting out. But once you have bought experience, then you need to up your rates and be doing that continually throughout your career. I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe now we're going to throw some numbers out there, but maybe for a first time reading with friends, you charge $20. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 15, right? And they hand you a $10 bill. They say, never mind, I'll pay for your drinks. All you did is you bought some experience and you're with friends. As you increase in experience and you are actually doing a professional reading, at that point, you have the right to say, I now charge 50. I now charge 80. I now charge 100.
Okay. Well, I disagree with the first part about the book.
Okay.
But not in theory. But I think there's a lot of people who continue to use the book who are very good at what they do. And it's a little bit of I use the book.
Yeah, I do too.
Not always.
I do
not
too.
always.
No.
But I mean, yeah, you do use the book, and you are worthy of being paid. So I don't think the book should be a benchmark. That's number one.
Fair enough.
Number two, when you're reading for friends in the very beginning, and you have to be really clear about this, in your mind and as you're creating a practice, I believe you can look at experience, like you're saying, as an energy exchange, right?
Yep.
So in exchange for experience, I'd like to try out this new deck. Can I do a reading for you? I would like to practice. Can I do a reading for you? I also think that if you are starting out and wherever you're learning from, it would be very valuable for you to find a group of people where you can do those round robin readings and those exchanges with other readers who are in the same boat, so that you have to me, that's a little bit better quality experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because another reader wants to see you succeed. Another reader wants to see you do a good job. You don't know if you're dealing with somebody who's afraid. You don't know if somebody, I've experienced somebody shoot me down at every card I pulled. I mean, well, I've experienced that.
Yep.
And the truth is that if I would have been newer,
that would
I
have
would have
been
been
painful.
like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, exactly. Really
the truth of the matter is that person was wrong. And I know that because I have confidence in what I do in connection.
Yep.
But not everybody is there yet. I mean, maybe you never get there. And you know what? Even if you never get to that place, you're still providing a service and you should still be paid.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So where could you go look? Like, there's a lot of places. I happen to be in a group where I've had the opportunity to look at a lot of people's websites and, kind of see what they charge. And there are some where I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of money. But do you think that now, see, here's something. These other people I was telling you about, their programs. Let's say it's a $3,000 program for a month. I mean, some of them I've seen are kind of like that, but it's a $3,000 for a program, $3,000 for a month, and you get XXX, right? I don't care what you get. I am never going to pay $3,000 for that.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Yep.
Am I saying it's not worth it? No. I'm saying it is not what I'm willing to pay. I'm not willing to pay that. So if I'm not willing to pay that, would it be a stretch to think that people might not be willing to pay that to me?
Yeah, I was just on a conversation this week with that exact topic, and it was more in business consulting, but the business consultant said, hey, when you I was, business story, the business consultant, he says one of his clients, he's trying to help him out, help him learn to charge more. And then when the guru is saying, well, why don't you work with me for a little bit? The student said, oh, no, I can't afford it. And he says, well, there's your problem. So there's if you're not willing to pay for expert.
Oh, now, okay, hold on. No, I'm not saying I'm not willing to pay it because I can't afford it, which I think is a different thing.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not willing to pay it, period. I don't like I'm not willing to buy a Lamborghini even if I could pay cash for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
it's just not what you want to do.
It's not what I want to do. So I think that you have to be really clear on what it is you want to do and who you want to help. And I do see your point. Because I see this in other ways, like in these mastermind groups that I'm in, and people are like, well, I want to do a website, but how can I do it for free? Or I want to put booking on my website, but how can I do it for free? How can I have a free scheduler? I want to use Canva, but I only want to use the free one. I cannot believe that Zoom does not allow you to use more than 45 minutes for free. And I don't understand that. Like, right. I feel like if you're not willing to pay other people for their services, and the services I'm talking about are nominal, by the way. Zoom is what, $25 a month or something?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been paying.
Yep. They're small amounts. Yep.
And I've been paying for my scheduler for so long, the scheduler on my website for so long, that I have what they call legacy pricing. Like, that's how long I've had it.
Right.
That's another one. It's like $15 a month. Or they complain about the 3% or whatever it is that PayPal takes or Square. Well, they have to pay for the equipment. They have to pay for the people.
Right.
They have
it's
to pay
service.
for the it's a service, right? So if you're not willing to pay for a service, how can you be? And I feel like this is part of the conversation about energy exchange.
Yeah, you're right.
If you look at it just in context, because I can connect to what the energy of that feels like, it's very unbalanced. And if you're not willing to pay, you're going to attract people that don't want to pay.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yep.
What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Boy, this is digging into the heart of business for many, many, many business owners.
Yeah, this one should have been an hour show, right?
I know,
because we're damn near out of time.
Yep, a very big deal.
It really is. So,
but how do you stair step your way out of that, right? If you're caught in this and free and cheap mindset, what can you do? I think the best thing to do is to bump up your fees 20% and just see, okay, let's get the ball rolling here. Bump up your fees and then start paying for stuff that makes your business better.
Right. And I think if you're just starting out, look at what it would cost to get a reading in a shop near you. And then cut that. And not because you're trying to undercut the shop, okay? Don't go into a shop and say, well, they charge $100 for an hour and I will only charge you $50. Do not do that. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
At all.
Use it as a benchmark.
So unethical, I can't even tell you.
Nope, you're using their numbers as a benchmark.
You're just using it as a benchmark, and you use because that's kind of what people are willing to pay. You can make it a little bit lower because you don't have the same overhead, right? You're not going to connect with the same people necessarily because there's something about going into the shop that people really enjoy and they like. So, that's another thing. But don't go, oh, well, they charge $80 an hour in the shop, so I'm probably only worth $20. That's not, you know what I mean?
No, it's not a value. It's not a matter of worth.
It's not a matter of worth. Exactly. So there's that. Work on your ability to receive. Right?
That's huge.
This is a big deal. And I'm going to tell you the thing that got me to be able to receive better than anything else I worked on was my purple hair. And
Wow.
this is going to sound crazy, but when I first turned my hair purple, every single day people would say, "I love your hair. I love your hair." And I would, when I first started out, I would say things like, "Thanks. I know it's I don't really like the cut, or I don't really like the blonde, or it's fading, or it's this or it's that."
Right. You diss the compliment.
And it was, they started to be exchanges where it made the person feel kind of bad, I could tell, and I didn't feel good. So it didn't take me long to realize, wait a minute, there's only one appropriate response.
Thank you.
There you go.
Gratitude.
Exactly. And so what happened was I started to realize that when people offered other things to me, it was easier to accept, including help and wisdom and whatever. I'm a work in progress, as we all are, but oh man, we went over already. That is what it is. Anyway, so there, you're right. So take the things that you can get for free that are free until you hit X. You know, like MailerLite. Let's say MailerLite is a CRM. Until you hit 1,000 subscribers, you don't pay.
Yep.
Right. That's cool.
It's called freemium. That's the freemium model.
That's the freemium model.
Yes.
There you go. I love that freemium. Freemium. That's a great word. So do that, but don't begrudge PayPal their cut, or don't begrudge Square their cut. You know,
or expert advice or expert help on your website. Yep.
Right. Find a good reader and ask them these questions. They will guide you, the right kind of reader. I mean, that's what I do, right? That's the kind of readings I do, and it's what I love. I have somebody I've been working with for 3 years that I see every week. You know, for exactly this reason. What's in alignment? Oh, how do we answer that question? Where do we build from here? So there are people that you can work with, but when I say I won't pay $3,000 for a program, that I have paid 1,000.
I have too.
I have paid 500. It's not that I'm unwilling. It's that I also know my tendency to sign up for $1,000 program and not finish it. So, there is that, right?
Yeah.
So
anyway,
wow, this was a big, juicy conversation, and there would be a lot more places where we could go with this. So,
and we will.
It'll be a little. We will definitely. I mean, I think that's a good idea with this. We'll find things that we can revisit. So, here's our next attempt at a smaller, more digestible chunk of Does It Resonate With You? If you enjoyed this conversation or you have any thoughts, please reach down and hit the subscribe button and maybe leave us a comment or a question. We'd love to hear from you. And past that, we will see you in the next one for tarot time. And there's a surprise in that one, so you should check that one out. Have a great afternoon, a great evening, a great day, a great everything. Have a great everything. How's that?
Bye.
Bye.